Hey fellas, good afternoon. It's Friday. Beautiful day out here. Show you shadow is fine. I didn't go for my walk this morning because last night I was asked to. I'm trying to stick to the shadow, stick it back in the house. I was asked to go to a boxing gym. It's called Borderland Brawlers, and I was also asked to go to an MMA gym to speak to some guys because there were actually two brawls inside of both of those gyms with young men. And I tell you what, I don't think, and enough. I think the gist of this video is, I don't think enough people are listening to young men and the hardships that they have to face all the time. And I have to tell you, I am a little bit really taken back by what I heard. There was a lot of emotion, finger pointing, and it basically had to do with two groups of guys. And I'm going to use two buzzwords for one group, and I'm only going to use one buzzword for the other group. It was between jocks and the other one with the two-word uh, group. They're called incels, and men go their own way. Um, there are a set of men who are naturally gifted, and they can develop a personality where they're not respectful to the people around them, to the point where evidently bullying was going on in the locker rooms and some other things, and I guess it just came to the head. And listen, I can tell you for a fact that three little guys can fuck up anybody my size, no problem. Get one of them wrapped around your legs, holding your legs, get you on the ground, that's your ass. So that's kind of what happened. And from what I understand, it to be called an incel is an insult as well as to be called part of the MGTOW uh, is considered an insult. Being red pilled or being part of the manosphere or being a jock is considered a badge of honor. And man, it was utter chaos, and the amount of frustration coming out of the young men on the incel MGTOW group was. But now that I thought about it, it's not surprising. At the time it was happening, I was like, what the fuck is going on? I heard everything from, I'm working two jobs to help support my mother and my brothers and sisters, and I still can't fucking get by. I'm tired of busting my ass and never getting ahead. And this is an 18-year-old kid. And we're talking, well, the coach and then the professor. That's the difference between jiu-jitsu, boxing and jiu-jitsu. Boxing is the coach. Professor is the Brazilian jiu-jitsu, the MMA guy who runs the MMA gym. So anyway, he made the jocks come there because, anyways, and I'll attach a video to this as well as I'll put some stuff in there about Peter Zeihan. And I think it's a lot worse for younger men than it was for me. Now, the reason it took me so long to become successful was because of my ignorance and arrogance when I was a young man. But for young men to not see a their shot at being successful in their future is something I don't think we want to, as a culture or society, put up with. And I mean, these guys were brawling. I mean, fucking brawling. And both of these guys wanted to squash this before parents got involved. The police were called and stuff like that. I don't know if you guys know this, but at a lot of boxing gyms, at a lot of MMA gyms, if you have a beef with somebody, you can settle it out there on the mats or in the ring and then shake hands after that. Nobody's trying to kill anybody, but you're definitely going to fight. And that's in a controlled environment. Anyways, but the brawl shocked them both. And I mean, there was a lot of pin-up tension that I just didn't fucking see. And I'm embarrassed that I didn't see it. There aren't in real. Jeez, I talked about everything. How the fuck do you? I'm gonna just be honest and say, how the fuck do you expect any of these young men to survive on $7.25 before taxes? And then they find out later, after they're thousands of dollars in debt. And that was the one guy. He was the most vocal. Was the guy who had to drop out of college because he couldn't afford it. I think there needs to be a lot more compassion for young men than to just turn them away. And women get all kinds of compassion. Anyways, I mean, it was. We need good young men. We need good young men who believe in God. We need good young men who believe in family. We don't need the next 2 to 3 generations saying, F the world, fuck the world, let it burn. I mean, I did not realize how much more difficult younger men's lives are than mine is. And it was a shockingly stark reminder about how we need to start taking better care of the younger men around us. And I was just, I mean, it took me and the coaches, it took us about 30 minutes to get them to just stop shouting at each other. And you know, guys are guys. Fuck you, no, fuck you. I mean, it was wild. I never thought. It just shows you how close you can be to something in these people and not know what the hell's going on. Is it settled? No. Is it fair? No. And I think that's the hardest thing to have to tell a young man, is that life, simply because of genetics, is not going to be fair to you. And you're going to have a harder time than the other guy. The other thing you have to tell the other guy, the jocks, the guys who all they have to do is apply themselves, and a lot of them don't, and they sit on their gifts and cruise. You have to tell them to stop being fucking assholes to people. I was very surprised. I have been trying to figure out how to explain this. The guys who I gravitate more to are the guys who consider themselves or called incels, and the MGTOW guys. I also believe I'm part of the Red Pill and Manosphere. But I mean, I will tell you this. If You have the opportunity to. Most of them just wanted to talk. Most of them just wanted to explain how shitty they were being treated by their fellow man. They just wanted it to stop. They wanted the bullying to stop. They wanted the insults to stop. They just wanted a fair shake. And I mean, it was emotional. I mean, there were people crying and hugging after it. And I think we should I hope, because you got people running around here. You got young men running around here killing each other for dope boys, gangsters. Anyways, I was very surprised. I'll attach a video. I'll reference Peter Zeihan and a guy. If I think it's called "What Is Alt History" or something like that. He's a 23-year young. He's a young man, and he did a. I watched his video because one of the guys told me to watch his video, and I'll attach it to this. But let me tell all of you guys around my age, in your 40s, 50s, 60s, you don't want 2 to 3 generations of young men banding together and burning everything to the ground because they don't have an opportunity to be successful. And the one kid he just said it's hopeless. He was like, "Coach, it's hopeless. What am I going to do? 5 foot," he said, "I'm 5'6", 140 pounds. What am I going to do? Where am I going to go? What do I have to look forward to? A life of hard work? A life of hard work outside? Doing a job I don't want to do? Why? Why should I do it?" And I was like, what the fuck do you tell him? I said, I told him, I don't know what to tell you. Anyway, the only thing I know that caused some type of peace is we all chipped in and bought them all. We had a bunch of pizza in there, and they got to play their music, but they had to alternate playing songs. And some of the songs they were playing were hard driving. Man, anyways, but it was very, very, very sobering to me. And here's another thing that they talked about. Some of the guys were on, younger men were on roofing crews, and some of them were to save up money to go to trade school. And what they were doing is they were being underbid by people who were coming here, who are here not legally and getting more benefits than. Anyways, it was there. Here I am wandering around thinking everything's hunky-dory, and it is. It looks like it's breaking at the seams. These young men need a way, if they're willing to do the work, to be successful. And a lot of them, a lot more of them than I had any realization, are like to the point, the breaking point. I think a lot of them are already at the breaking point where they're like, "Fuck this, let's tear it down." I'm not. They called it not the working poor. He said they pay slave wages, and there's no benefit in me doing anything. So why don't we just band together and take what we want? And I was like, inside, I was like, holy fucking shit. Do you know what that means? They don't see any. They have to have opportunities, and they can't see those opportunities go to somebody else simply because of their gender, simply because of their belief that there's some patriarchy keeping them down. Or you got women out there running around saying, "I hate all men, kill all men," all that kind of stuff. I mean, I am a little shook. I'm not sure what to call this video, but I'm definitely going to put this video out. And I would say over 90% of them just wanted to be listened to. And I have a unique ability to shut the fuck up and listen to people when they're speaking and not trying to interrupt them and not trying to ambush their conversation. In fact, a couple times you have to. There are guys that are they're just so sarcastic. Anyways, we got through the meeting, and evidently, I don't think the issues are. You can't ask a man. You can't ask a young man to survive on $7.25. You can't ask a guy to do all the dirty, shitty jobs and then still be treated like a piece of trash. I mean, and they don't feel like there's any dignity in doing a hard day's work when you're still treated like a piece of trash. I mean, that was the thing, and they were like, why should we do this? Why should we put up with this? Why should we have to be part of a system that doesn't give a shit about us? And so most of them just wanted to be listened to. Most of them are looking for light at the end of the tunnel with the hopes. Well, I think a lot of them think that light at the end of the tunnel is a train coming the other way. I don't have a happy ending to this story, but it's honest. And I can tell you it was very surprising to me. One of the biggest fights between a couple of the guys was one of the young men is a gifted athlete. He has a full ride scholarship to a very good university. That means they pay for his books, his tuition, his food, his room and board. He doesn't have to do anything but concentrate on classes and athletics. That's it. And they'll help him with the classes. This other guys, and he was like, what the fuck? What do I have to look forward to? A life out here at 130 degrees working on the roads? Why do I have to sacrifice my health and my body and my future? How do you argue with that? You can't argue with that. And if you do, well, my content isn't for you. If you think that, I mean, what if they just quit? What if all of them just say, fuck it, we're going to go do our own thing? Anyways. All right. Love you guys. Stay safe and healthy. That's a bit heavy. I told him I can help him with money. I'll do the drip stock report after this, after the bell closes. I'll attach the videos in this. And if you have an opportunity to mentor or help a younger man out, and for me, I'm definitely, I think I dropped out for a while, so I'm going to try to get back in there. I've always wanted to do as much as I could to make a difference, but I've been very lazy on my own end. Okay, so I'm going to do what I can to fix that. Love you guys. Stay safe and healthy. Take care of each other if you can, and if you can't, you have to take care of yourselves. Like a fort in a G-string. West Texas, El Paso, I'm out of here. Bye-bye.